Hello, and welcome to our Mental Health Moments with Education for a Lifetime. My name is David Galvan, and I'm the director of this organization. And we just wanted to let you know about some of our partners that we've been working with over the past few years in the mental health and suicide prevention field, especially during this time with the coronavirus and the quarantine that's been happening, isolation and grief, and those types of things can set in. And we just wanted to let you know about some of our partners who have resources here locally and nationally so that you can make sure that you stay well, stay connected, and stay healthy. We hope that you enjoy this. Please look for us at educationforalifetime.org. Enjoy.
Just so you know. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on another mental health moment. This has been phenomenal. I hope you're learning something, and I hope you're getting something out of this. This is meant to be a resource to you guys and education for a lifetime. We just want you to know about these partners that we've been partnering with in regards to the mental health field and relationships. And these are some of our individuals today. I have Dr. Kim Boyd with us, as well as Martha Hinson, both of these representing different school districts. I'll let Kim introduce herself. Kim, tell us a little bit about the district that you represent right now.
Oh, great. I am with District 49 out in the Falcon area. And we are the best place to work, learn, and lead.
Awesome.
So I'm the director of community care, and that means pretty much all things mental health and different types of support, from suicide prevention to mental and mindfulness awareness and at-risk student support, all these types of different things.
That's
I'm
awesome.
a school psychologist. I'm a school psychologist, a clinical psychologist, and then I'm also a board certified behavior analyst.
Oh my goodness. And if you've ever met Kim before, she's got a lot of initials after and before her name, and then like other like certifications. She's got a list. She's actually doesn't have a business card. She has a business 8.5 by 11. Like, you just get this. And so thanks for being on this call with us. Hey, Martha, tell us a little bit about you and who you represent.
So I represent Academy School District 20. We're on the north end of the Springs near the Air Force Academy. I am the health and wellness specialist there, and my role is pretty similar to Kim's. However, I don't deal with special education. I'm mainly mental health, all the mental health programming, suicide prevention, health and wellness teams across the district, just kind of that overall holistic health picture. Anything that falls under that, I do.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's so great.
These two, awesome.
These two are individuals that represent District 49 and District 20 as in their mental health wellness area. And it's such a phenomenal opportunity to have both of them on, especially during our quarantine time, Corona, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's so many names to it right now. I think at the end of the year, I should say, like the top 3 words of the year will be like furlough, Corona, and quarantine. Like, my phone knows how to spell quarantine now. Like, it's like before this, we didn't. But one of the questions we've been asking people that come on the show is, what have you been doing during quarantine? Like what have you been, what new skill did you learn? What fun or not so fun thing have you been doing? So whoever wants to answer first can, but what have you guys been doing during quarantine?
Well, one thing I've been doing is exhausting my dog. We walk numerous times a day, and she loves to play fetch. But so one of my things is I'm trying to teach her to bring the ball back to me. She fetches it fine, but she loves to fetch it and then just run somewhere and drop it. And she'll sit down and she just looks at me and looks at the ball and looks at me and looks at the ball. Like, come on, you need to run around too. So
she's training you. She's training you to do the tricks.
So yeah, my goal before all this is over is to really Google or YouTube how you train the dog to bring the ball back to you. But she's having a ball.
The dog whisperer.
It is sad that I have spent a lot of time doing that.
No, that's
running around
awesome.
my yard. Where she
I love it.
be, so.
I read an article the other day that a poor dog actually broke its tail because they've been home for so long. The dog's been waving its tail back and forth, and then broke its tail because they were so happy that they were home all day long.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Kim, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been preparing to be on an episode of Chopped, if you know what that is. So here's a basket of odd things. You've got 3 celery stalks, a can of Spam, and 2 jelly beans. Make a dinner and a dessert. So we've been trying to just find what's in the cupboard and be creative. And sometimes it works out, and most times not so much. So you won't be seeing me on Chopped anytime soon.
Not even junior edition. Not even junior
Probably
edition.
not. No, those kids will kick my butt. Yeah.
Yeah.
My poor husband is not thrilled. But
Oh
we're just trying
goodness.
to not go out and try to be creative in what we're doing. So
Yeah, I get it. I think so many Americans right now have probably found outdated food in their cupboards because
Oh, yeah.
they finally went back far enough in there. Like, this corn's been in here for 4 years.
I have
You'd
thrown
be
out a
surprised
lot
we
of
have done
stuff.
that. Yeah. And in your fridge, you don't remember how long ago it was you bought that ketchup.
No.
Right.
I mean, seriously, we have gone through all of that, gone through all the cupboards and thrown out all the stuff from 2010.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. From 2010. Oh my, it's a 10-year anniversary. Okay, cool. That's a decade ago. Well, while we have you guys on, what we want to know is, speaking of health, what we want to know is like as administrators of your districts, like what are you guys seeing right now? Like, give us an insight to your world. Like, let us and help us empathize with you as you guys are making decisions, as you guys are going through day to day. Like, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? And how's it going for you guys as administrators?
Well, mine is kind of twofold right now, because I sit in a lot of meetings with our school counselors, our school sites, and social workers, as I'm sure Kim does as well. And just listening to the, I think a lot of staff are feeling overwhelmed, especially those that have kids that they're trying to homeschool and teach their classes as well. A lot of funny little anecdotes happening. But also I have been working some on the student side. And in fact, I had a meeting yesterday with some of our sources of strength peer leaders. And a couple of them are seniors. And, I think they're feeling like it's a grief process, right? They're grieving some of the things they're not getting to do, as well as that social isolation piece. I think is really hard. Those were the things that they wanted to talk about the most.
Yeah.
But we have been focusing a lot on the What Helps Us campaign through Sources of Strength. And our district is kind of taking that on, and we're doing Wellness Wednesdays through our social media in our district for staff, families, and students. So today is all about being connected and finding ways to stay connected even though we're physically distant. So those are just some of the things. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're staying connected right here. Look, you're doing Wellness Wednesday with us.
I tell you, I love virtual meetings to get to see people. It just makes me so happy.
That's
and
awesome.
always you, David, because you make me laugh.
Well, I appreciate that. The feeling is mutual. Kim, what are you guys doing out there at District 49?
Well, again, the same types of things that Martha's mentioning is that some of our kids are feeling disconnected, and down from elementary all the way up through high school is they're, as much as they say they don't like going to school, all of a sudden they're like, I really wish I was able to go to school, right? And so they're missing their friends, they're missing recess, and they're missing the interaction and the passing periods, and even their teachers. They're checking in with them, but just that physical, being in the physical space with someone else is a lot of what they're kind of missing. And some are getting a little depressed and a little anxious about being alone. And we have had a few where we have essential personnel whose parents are essential personnel, and the students are having less contact with their parents even, and are having even more disconnectedness. And so there's some of that. But and then that's a double layer thing, because the teachers are missing their kids. the teachers love, I mean, they're teachers for a reason. They want that interaction. They crave that interaction with the students, and they are missing their students, and the students are missing them, and all of that interaction. So that's kind of been the biggest difficulty. And then just trying to keep connectedness and engagement, and keeping things in a way, now as we're kind of settling in and we've got a schedule and things like that, we are really trying to help families maintain a schedule by having open office hours, or having classroom meeting times or classroom circle times. So we do a lot of restorative practices and a lot of restorative circle type work. And so some of our classrooms are trying to schedule those on a daily basis, so that the kids can all get in together with the teacher and kind of do a gallery view on your laptop and see everybody, and be able to have that connectedness on a daily basis. And so really trying to encourage connectedness, encourage checking in on your friends, checking in on each other, and our staff trying to have staff buddies that they're checking in on each other with as well, so that so there's not anybody that's out there with no eyes on them, or no feeling like they're connected to somebody. So having some buddies that you're checking in with as a staff, but then also having those classroom opportunities.
Yeah, that's awesome. These are all great ideas. I loved every time that I've done one of these. I just keep getting more ideas and things to like continue to do. I actually saw a recent meme that says, I wonder who my student's teacher is going to be next year. Hopefully it's not me. And like all these parents that have had to learn homeschooling, I think I hope there's an increased empathy for what teachers do and for what you guys do as administrators, because that's a lot of tough decisions. Martha, you mentioned this idea of isolation and grief. If you're a parent at home, and I'm sitting here watching this right now, like as administrators, what would you guys like maybe advise or suggest of things that if we are feeling that isolation or grief, what would be helpful for these students and parents?
Well, absolutely. Trying to have open conversations with your children at a developmentally appropriate level. So a high school conversation is going to be a whole lot different than a first grader conversation.
Yes.
But having just even having an understanding of why can't we go out? Why can't we be within 6 feet? And sometimes it's almost easier to have a conversation with the younger ones, because parents have more of an influence over them. The teenagers sometimes are more like, well, I'm invincible. They have that, frontal lobe development is not quite where we would like that to be. And they forget that they, can be invincible, and they just want to be out and about. And sometimes that can create some conflict as well. But having those conversations and making sure that you are encouraging reaching out. It's okay to have phone calls or text message or things. I know we're always talking about reducing screen time and reducing all of that. Now, that within a realm of some oversight, because you are still the parent, and wanting to make sure that you know what's going on and who they're speaking with. We don't want them to be unsafe, but we do want to make sure that they are calling people and FaceTiming people and having some interaction with their friends, so that they don't have that sense of isolation. But there is the grief of many of our high school students have lost this entire season of tennis or baseball or softball or whatever, and that is a loss to all grade levels in middle and high school. And then of course the graduations and the senior breakfast and the award ceremonies. One of our high schools, I was just talking to a counselor today about how they're trying to do a virtual award ceremony, and they're requesting that the students videotape the little short, they would get like a minute or so kind of mic time about how, thanking for the award or whatnot. And so videotaping that with their phone or their computer, sending that in, and then they're going to do a big Zoom type meeting where they will play the clip of them, and then people can log in and see that. So trying to figure out different ways that we can still have some of those rites of passage while still maintaining some safety.
No, that's good. I like that you call it videotaping. Nowadays in 2020 we call it filming, but it's okay. Recording, filming.
Get out my beta cassette. Thank you.
Your whole Disney series on VHS. That's awesome. Martha, what do you think, Martha, in regards to like this isolation and grief? Like, what's helpful for these? Those are all great, Kim. I loved them. I think that's really supportive.
I think for parents, number one is, and Kim was spot on with all the things she said. But I think to give parents permission to also have those feelings and not have to be everything for their kids all the time, because we can't. We're all struggling. Yeah. And just to really practice that self-care of themselves and what that looks like. I think we've been trying to really push a lot of that out to our staff and our parents. But also to, help your kids identify once they talk to you, right? And you encourage them to open up and talk and to just relay that message. It's okay to not be okay, but to help them tap into things that help when they're experiencing great sadness or a lot of anxiety or anger. I mean, those are our three big emotions, right? That kind of all the other emotions fall under. And how can I tap into things that help me, whether it's family supports or my mentor or my positive friends. We put out the question to a lot of our peer leaders, our sources of strength peer leaders, of how can we creatively be a positive friend right now, being in shelter in place? And can it look more like than just texting each other, right? What can we do virtually? So, and I think just tapping into whether it's your faith or generosity, that ability to give of yourself to help you, because it really does help us, that gratitude piece, but really acknowledging where we all are right now, and it's okay. And I think the best thing for a parent to do with their student is to say, I'm having a hard time here too, because you normalize it. And not talking about it is, just creates more tension and stress. So
yeah, I was watching the latest Mr. Rogers movie not too long ago, and in there Mr. Rogers says this phrase. He goes, if it's mentionable, it's manageable. And if we can just be able to talk and have that out there and say, mom and dad are learning how to be homeschool teachers. Like, we're not teachers. Like, there are some parents that's why they're not a teacher. Like, they're learning that right now full-handedly. And then students trying to learn how to be taught by parent. And these could be unsafe places. They could be homes that are not safe. And the student has lost their safe place. And I think these are all great things for parents to just be thoughtful of and be thinking of. And you're right. Like, we're all feeling these emotions at the same time. And they may be different, but two emotions at the same time can definitely clash. And so one thing I want to make sure parents know is, like, there's hope. There's hope. We don't know when this is over. We don't know what's going to change, but hope's always available. And if we continue to look for those things, man, we could definitely grow from all of this. Your guys' information is on your guys' social media feed. So all these resources, Facebook, you've got your emails, so can they get online to your guys' websites and make sure that they're registered for emails and everything like that?
Absolutely. And then on the D49 webpage, there is a section called Community Care, and that's my webpage. Also under the e-learning and the coronavirus section on the front page, there's a link to the Community Care webpage, and that has information on free social emotional learning websites and services that parents can access, as well as some physical things like Great Go Noodle and some things like that, as well as just resources for the community of where they can get food pantry support, or where they might be able to get help with their electricity, or other kind of financial supports or physical supports that they might need. So there's resources throughout the community, and just a variety of other things. We're trying to keep that updated and posted very regularly. How do you talk to your kids about coronavirus? How to help with mental health and wellness in your own home? A little bit on how the team's perspective about this whole thing is, and how parents can kind of help talk with their kids, their teenagers, a little bit better too. So all those types of things are on the Community Care webpage.
That's awesome. That's very cool. And Martha, same for you guys as well?
Right. So when you log on to the D20 website, there's coronavirus updates and resources, and you just click on there. And we have a family resource guide that has many of the same items that Kim just talked about. Some really good articles, a couple of webinars for parents.
Great.
On all those things. So, and we try to update it as much as possible. One of the big things I think we want to make parents, not to create alarm, but whenever teens are socially isolated and during any kind of crisis event, the risk of suicidal ideation and suicide attempts go way up, and we know that's happening with the teen population as well as the elderly population right now in El Paso County. So I think we've been just trying to send out helpful information that would educate, like if you're having these symptoms in yourself or in your children, what you should know, when do you get help, those kinds of things, so that we can hopefully just create more awareness around that.
Yeah, this is part of why we're doing these mental health moments. All the resources that both for Kim at District 49 and Martha at D20 will be inside of this chat, as well as available on our EFL, or Education for a Lifetime website as well, so that people can have those resources. Man, we are so grateful for individuals like you in our community to serve our community, even in the midst of this crisis right now. You guys are doing a phenomenal job of taking care of those. And I know that it might get harder here soon with whatever happens with school. We're in that unknown time and the uncertain time. But what we can be certain of is there's hope. We can really be certain that there's hope in the midst of this. And it's okay to not be okay. You can be unhappy and healing and hurting and happy all at the same time. And so we hope that this was informational. You guys are phenomenal. And so thank you for taking the time to do this today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. You're phenomenal, and thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
See ya. Hang in there,
All right,
Kim.
thank you.
See ya.